as a community can do better.
What do you want to tell your children about this moment?
We need reforms.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we stand together.
Everybody's here together, black, white, brown, everybody.
A platform for progress in our community.
We need to do a better job.
I want to show that we can be peaceful.
This is just as much our fight as it is yours.
Discussing the problems of racial inequality and solutions to combat discrimination in a conversation for change.
We'll be able to build on this.
I never in a million years thought I would embrace a cop like that.
From Wish TV, we stand together.
Wish TV, giving leaders and other members of the community an opportunity to share their voices. It's a series we call We Stand Together.
A special edition. Our community link had a panel discussion with 2 Central Indiana mayors about their efforts to end equality and push for progress.
We have the mayor of Lawrence, Steve Collier, and the mayor of Fishers, Scott Fadness. How we got 2 mayors here together is awesome. I don't know how we did that, but thank you so much for joining us. So, Mayor Fadness, I want to start with you in Fishers. You have been really focusing on interrupting racism. That's what you're calling it. You're doing seminars with your team. Talk about that and talk about the difference that it's made.
Well, to be honest with you, with a complex problem like our racial tensions in our country today and in our communities, to pay it its due respect, you got to learn about it. You got to understand all the complexities that come with that topic. And so I mandated that myself and as well as my entire leadership team go through a 2-day course called Interrupting Racism, and it really provided an opportunity. It gives you the historical context to how we as a society have gotten to where we are today. And with that understanding and knowledge, it gains you a power, the ability to go do something about it. And that's really been impactful for both myself and a lot of my team. And we really do believe that there's an opportunity to do something better to improve society. And we're busy trying to accomplish that.
Mayor Collier, how about Lawrence? Where are
One of the things we pride ourselves on in Lawrence is we're probably the most diverse city of our size in the state of Indiana, and so we build upon that. That's kind of one of the things that we thump our chest about. When I first came into office, one of my goals was to make my administration look like Lawrence and to do a better job of making our employees look like Lawrence so that we had a better connection firmly in place. So I would tell you that from my previous experience in education, for me, had a lot of exposure to working with people of other races and other cultures. That came easy to me. It doesn't come easy to everybody, and unless you've had the experience, you can learn off of one another. We just happened to have, I had a staff-wide meeting among understanding cultural and racism throughout the Indiana, certainly, and in Lawrence specifically. And a lot of it was just language, teaching them what words are appropriate to use and how it affects others of other races when you use certain words. It's a learning process, and I would tell you that in most cases there's nothing intended to be mean or negative, but you have to tell them and make them understand this is okay to say, this is not okay to say. So it's a process that we go through, and I'm proud to say that we have a kind of an ongoing learning situation in the city of Lawrence, and we'll continue that.
So obviously leadership makes a huge difference. You are working with the leaders that are working with you in your communities. Stories make a difference, I think, for people. I know, Mayor Fadness, you and I talked about your chief of police and him sitting down with the black police officers and really understanding what's happening in the midst of these protests and how they're being impacted. Both of you, tell us stories about what you're doing and how people have been impacted by those stories.
Yeah, as police chief, the story you mentioned, my police chief went to the Undoing Racism, Interrupting Racism class, came back and realized he had never asked a very simple question to our black officers: what's it like to be an officer in our agency, and what's it like to be an officer in our community in this time? And the feedback that he got was very sobering and very important to instruct us on how we move forward. And those types of conversations, those honest, brave discussions, there's been a multitude of those since we've had that initial training. And those are very, very productive conversations when you can have an honest discussion about where we're at. Like Steve said, it's all well intended, but unless you have those honest discussions, we're never going to progress. And that's been truly impactful for our city.
you have to be ready to call somebody out if they've said something wrong and not to be offended by it, just to learn from it. We had a great situation in Lawrence not long after the protests began, in which we had a student-led demonstration right there in front of Lawrence Central High School, and the moms and the parents took control of it. Our police were there for assistance. Very good learning situation. I happened to be a dean of students back when Rodney King was found not guilty, and we dealt with a walkout on that day, and we ended up having what I would call, not jokingly, a kumbaya moment, where we began to understand each other better. We were a school at that point that was fairly well integrated, but we didn't really understand each other that much. So situations like that, kind of the peaceful demonstration where we give people a chance to talk to one another. We had our leaders that talked about their interpretation and what they were doing, how they felt was going on, how to heal and how to move forward. All that took place among a group of a very well integrated group of both young white kids and young black kids, and that was the key of having representation on both sides of the aisle there.
Absolutely. It is important to know that the authorities are doing their job, but how about the citizens? How about us? What is the message that you will be sending to the community in order to stand together?
I would tell you that probably one of the best things that you can do is to begin to participate more in citywide events and make sure that we're inviting people of all colors and all races to participate, so they begin to feel more comfortable in interacting with city personnel.
I think it's the little things. It's putting a human element to this conversation. If you read Twitter, if you read Facebook, if you watch national news, it is so hyped up and so much emotion to it, and you start to form opinions about this very complex issue, yet you haven't gone over and met your neighbor who might be of another race and find out that they're struggling with the same things that you are, that they're the same human being that you are. We all aspire to the same things, and if we can start having those conversations, as corny as it might sound, we'll find out that there really is a common theme that links us all together. We just have to identify it.
So thank you both for your caring hearts. Thank you for being such great leaders in the state of Indiana. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you so much.
And remember, you can also listen to our We Stand Together podcast anytime.
And you can find tonight's episode and others online at the AllIndianaPodcastNetwork.com.
From Wish TV, we stand together. Watch, read, listen, and be a part of the conversation online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Find more episodes of We Stand Together and other podcasts from Wish TV online anytime at AllIndianaPodcastNetwork.com. AllIndianaPodcastNetwork.com.